If you came across a rental property, could you figure out in 10 minutes if it's a good deal or not? In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step process on how to analyze real estate deals quickly. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, let's get into it. Step 1 is knowing how to use the 1% rule. It's an easy process for you to figure out how to funnel through deals quickly so you don't waste your time. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to look at what the actual subject property's purchase price is. For example, let's say it's $300,000. Then what you're going to do is see what is the potential rent that you can collect in that particular area. And if it's 1% of the purchase price, so 1% times 300,000, if you can collect $3,000 of monthly rent for that particular area, then it's worth looking into more. It's not going to guarantee you that the property is going to cash flow, but it is going to give you some better insight if it's worth looking into a little bit deeper. So for instance, if, for example, the purchase price was, again, $300,000, and you're only able to collect $2,500 of actual rent in the area, it's probably going to be too tight, it won't cash flow, and you can push that deal aside and move on to the next deal. The next thing you need to do is you got to figure out how to collect the numbers that's going to support your analysis. That's purchase price, rent, potential mortgage, depending on the deal structure you have, taxes, insurance, potential rent, whatever the numbers are, you have to be able to collect all that information and put it into your analysis. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that high level quickly, so that way when you do your analysis, you can figure out and see if it works and it's going to cash flow or not. So let's dig into the computer so I can show you a subject property and show you how to kind of get it pretty quickly. Okay guys, this is our first example of a property that we're looking into. So I got this property in New Britain, Connecticut. It's on the sale right now for approximately $300,000. As you can see, some of the photos, it looks pretty good on the inside. Let's just read some of the descriptions to make sure we know exactly how many rooms there are. This is a multi-family house. It's a duplex. It's a 2-family, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, okay? And it looks like it has some additional living space upstairs that you may be able to convert into some rental property in the future. But for now, let's just assume it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, just for our particular analysis. So what you want to do is, for using the 1% rule, is to try to find out in this particular area, can you collect at least rent for at least $1,500 for a 2-1 bath, okay? So let's go see where we can collect. We can see that, let's change this to 2 bedrooms. I want exact match. I don't want anything else besides 2 bedrooms. Now, Dwight Street is approximately right around this area here. Now, we got a highway here, so we're gonna be on the right side of the highway because the left side of the highway could be a different type of neighborhood. And the only way for you to really check is actually go drive by and check it out. But let's just assume we're going to check the surrounding streets about 2-3 blocks away. Looks like we can get a 2-1 for $1,320, or here's another one for $1,300, $1,250, and then we got another one for here for $1,400, and we have this 3 here. At least looks like they're going for $1,250. So it looks like approximately, give or take, it's going for about $1,300 per apartment in that particular area. So if you just quickly do the math, if we have 2 units going for $1,300 each, that's $2,600 a month. That's well below the 1% we're trying to target. 1% of 300,000 is 3,000. We're only going to collect 2,600. So the likelihood of this unit actually cash flowing is probably less likely to work. The only exception, without doing additional due diligence, is to see what this additional space upstairs can be rented into. They're advertising as a 2-family, but can you make it a 3-unit? And if you could make it a 3-unit, then maybe this can work out. So for now, we're going to pass on this deal, and we're going to find something else that can maybe work for us a little bit better. Okay, so next property we're going to look at is this one here as an example. This one's 70 Monroe Street. It's going for $500,000. It's a 3-1. It looks like it's got current tenants in there already. But for purposes of our analysis and the example today, what we're going to try to do is try to figure out if this thing will cash flow. Okay, so we have a projected asking price of $500,000. 1% of that is $5,000 of rent that we're looking to capture to see if this thing could potentially cash flow. So let's go check it out. Approximately around this area down here. Okay, this area here. and we're gonna switch. You can use, I like to use Zillow. There's other type of resources out there that are free just to get an idea of what the rents could be in this particular area. So we're gonna go click for rent. These are 3 ones. We know we want only 3 ones, so just hit 3. And then let's look around the area. So this particular area looks like we can get something for $1650, $1800, $2100, $1500. So it looks like, based on, there's a couple 1600s here, 15. Here's one for 2200. Here's one for 2300, 2200. I think it's safe to assume that 1700 is probably an ideal ballpark of what we could potentially get on this particular area. Why can I get 22 or 2400? Probably because those things are a little bit nicer condition and have been updated. I'm not 100% sure about the quality of this particular subject unit that we're looking for, 70 Monroe Street. So we're just going to assume it's not 100% comparable to those higher price rents. So we're gonna be a little more conservative there. So we're gonna assume 1700 times 3, and that gives us approximate rental income of $5,100 a month. So what does that tell us? It tells us that this is something worth looking into, and it's worth us analyzing deeper if it's going to cash flow for us. Okay, so we know it hits the 1% rule, so we're gonna dig a little bit deeper to see if this thing is actually gonna cash flow. So we know what the purchase price is. We could maybe get something a little bit better, but we're not 100% sure yet. So let's just assume the purchase price is $500,000. We understand what the estimated rents are. The next thing we need to figure out is, what is our potential mortgage payment? What are our property taxes? What are our insurance? And then we need to have some estimates of what we think maintenance is gonna be and vacancy is gonna be. If you guys are not 100% comfortable with figuring out what your mortgage is going to be, there's tons of free tools online to help you calculate what that could potentially be. I like to use bankrate.com, their mortgage calculator. It can help you. You can just plug in the numbers and it gives you a potential estimate. So we're going to pretend it's $500,000 and we're going to assume 20% down. That all depends on what your deal structure is going to be. Maybe it's going to be a little higher. Maybe it's going to be a little bit lower. Maybe you're going to have seller financing. But for now, for demonstration purposes, we're assuming 20%, interest rate of 5.5%. And the zip code for where we're looking at is 06051. Okay, now we got to update what our property taxes are, our homeowners insurance, our PMI, and if any HOA fees. So, first thing first is, how are you going to get the property tax? If you want to do something quickly, I recommend just going on perplexity.com and asking Perplexity to tell you what the property taxes are for this particular unit. So, what are the property taxes for 70 Monroe Street, New Britain, CT? What are the real estate property taxes? Just to make sure we're more confident on the answer here. The real estate property taxes for 70 Monroe Street is $9,078 for the current fiscal year. So what's great about Perplexity, I pressure test this across a couple properties by actually looking up what the tax bill is for particular properties, and it's actually pretty damn close. So it's a pretty good, easy way to figure out. But when you're actually pursuing this thing, you're gonna want to confirm that on your own. And how are you gonna want to confirm that on your own later on? Let me show you exactly how. Mostly every city in every state, for most states, has a way to view property taxes for each online. New Britain, property taxes, you Google it, search up the tax bill, property location, this is all public records, 70 Monroe, it populates up, go down to 2024, the current property taxes is $9,078, you can look up the tax bill here by downloading it. This is all public information. There's nothing fishy about this. Anyone can access this data at any time. It says $9,078. What does Perplexity say? $9,078. So pretty right on point. So then we're going to go to our mortgage calculator. 78 divided by 12 is approximately $756.50 per month. Oops. This is round up. Okay, next is homeowners insurance. Ideally, what you would want to do is call up State Farm, call up Geico, call up anyone that you can get your homeowners insurance from and see what they could be. If you don't want to do that, you want to do something quick, Just ask Perplexity, see what they say. Let's see what it says. It says the average cost is between $250 to $330. Let's just take the average between that two, which is approximately $290, and put that into our analysis. I'm going to say $290. The PMI, that's your private mortgage insurance. If you're going to be investing less than 20%, then you're going to have some PMI, but for this particular example, we're not. And there's no HOA fees associated with this. So we're going to ask this to update. And we're going to get our monthly payment breakdown is going to be $3,590, which includes principal, interest, property tax, and homeowners insurance. Okay, so what do we do next? We have our purchase price, we have our projected rents, we have what our property taxes could be, what our insurance could be. We know there's no HOA fees, we know what our mortgage rate's going to be. Now, what we can also next need to estimate is what is our maintenance and what is our vacancy be. So for maintenance, I like to assume 10% of rental income, and for vacancies, I like to ask Perplexity and see what they say. $5 to 7%. We're going to assume 10% because, I don't know, we're being super conservative. Maybe it can only be 5. So the next thing you're going to want to do is open up some Excel spreadsheet if you want. You can write it on a piece of paper, whatever you think is easier for you to figure out how to put all this information down. And we're going to see if this is going to work for us. Fancy here, I'm just going to see what our rent's going to be. We know we're going to have Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. We said each of those units were going to be approximately $1,700 a month. So total rent is $5,100 a month. We're going to say mortgage, which includes principal and insurance, is, we said, was $35.90 per month. Now we're going to have maintenance and we're going to have vacancy. We're going to assume 10% of rental income. You can make your own assumptions if you like on what you think it's going to be, but this is what I'm going to assume just to be a little more conservative. So total expenses, again, this mortgage number includes interest, principal, insurance, and taxes. Total expenses, and then net income. Total expenses $4,610. Our net income, so $490 a month is net cash flow every single month. Let's say yearly cash flow. Multiply that by 12. And then we're going to compare that to our investment, which is $100,000. And do cash equal investment, 100,000. Our cash on cash return is approximately 6% or 5.8%. And that's your return. So we know we're going to cash flow. It assumes $100,000 investment. These are our estimates here. And that's it. That's how you do it really easily. Now you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to pursue this or not? We know it potentially could cash flow. We would need to pressure test these numbers a little bit more, but at least you know if it's worth digging into a little bit more deeply. And that's it. We decided whether the property was worth looking into a little bit more or not. We did the 1% rule. If a property had passed that test, we digged in a little bit deeper. We did some assumptions of what we think the expenses were going to be, and then it gave us a little bit of feedback that said, hey, this particular unit could potentially cash flow. That means you should put it into your bucket of deals that say, hey, we should look into this a little bit more. Maybe this should be something we're worth pursuing. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If it did, please hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment section below if there's any particular topics or anything else you want me to discuss in a little bit more detail. And I hope we'll be able to see you next time in the next future videos. Thank you.